Hello, Misfits, and welcome. In today's video, we're talking about 10 of the dumbest things my players have ever done. I know, this sounds like such a mean video, and maybe it kind of is, but I love my players. I really, really do. And I feel like I should be upfront in saying that one of my players gave me the idea for this video and helped me come up with the entire list. So, anybody from my table watching, go after Emily. It's all her fault. Obviously, this is just meant to be a fun video, so some of these things are pretty silly, and I'm sure we would rule or handle things differently at our own tables, and that is totally fine, so just enjoy the video, have a laugh, and definitely share with me some of the crazy things that have happened at your table. Before we go any further, I do need to tell you guys a little bit about Into the AM. Into the AM is a men's apparel brand that really values creativity and self-expression. You've been hearing a lot about Into the AM from me lately, and that is because we are in the holiday season, which means they're putting on their biggest sale of the year. If you click the link in the description below, you can get up to 60% off for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And if you use my code Misfit at checkout, you can get an additional 10% off. That is huge. That's up to 70% off, which is such a steal. They have a number of really cool items that you can get, but my favorite are definitely the graphic tees. They have such colorful, intricate, and unique designs that I just love to wear and show off. I always get a lot of compliments, and they are legitimately some of the softest shirts that I own. So I 10 out of 10 recommend them. Definitely go check out their site and look at all of the things they have to offer. And don't forget to use the link in the description to get up to 60% off, and then use my code MISFIT to get an additional 10% off at checkout. Now go get yourself some super awesome shirts. All right, let's get into it. The dumbest things that have happened at my table. I feel like I should be upfront and warn you that you're going to get some spoilers for campaign 1 and 2 here on the channel, so just, be aware of that. Listen at your own peril. So, number 1, my party, my players, my sweet, sweet players, they have this tendency to just not prepare. Not prepare specifically for things that they know they're going to run into. Yeah, and that's a pretty dumb thing to do, I would say. Example 1. In campaign 1, the main way to travel is using flying ships. That is traveling on these big ships that fly hundreds to thousands of feet up into the air and all across the world. And there are a number of things you could encounter while using these ships. You could come across flying monsters that attack you. You could come across sky pirates that attack you. Something could malfunction on your ship, and that would be bad. In all of these instances, the possibility of falling off of the ship or the ship crashing, is not zero. It certainly can happen. So what's something that maybe, knowing that and having that in mind, you would want to be able to do? Yeah, you might want to be able to prevent yourself from falling by either using the spell fly, or maybe the spell feather fall. I would even accept a levitate or something like that. Yeah, majority spellcasters at the table, none of them took any of those spells for the entire campaign. The entire campaign. Can you imagine not only my surprise, my dismay, and just deep, deep concern when I realized that at any moment, a simple little encounter mid-travel could end in possibly a TPK? That's terrifying. That is not a good position for me as the DM to be into. Because if they plummet to their death and die, I'm gonna feel bad about that. But at the same time, it's not exactly been a surprise that they're flying places. I was pretty upfront about that in the session 0. So I feel like that's on them. And you would think that they would have learned from this mistake and been more prepared for their surroundings in campaign 2. But no, campaign 2 was a nautical campaign. Pretty much the entirety of the campaign, they are traveling on ships across the ocean. Sometimes they even have to go investigate or explore things that are underwater. So what would they need to be able to do? Breathe underwater. And yeah, I think 3 people in the party could, but that's still majority party not being able to breathe underwater. And I tried so hard to prepare them for these things. I'm like, oh hey, this shop is selling discounted potions of water breathing. Oh hey, this shop is selling this magic item that lets you breathe underwater. So many times I would put that in front of my players, and so many times they just wouldn't take it. They would ignore it. And eventually they were confronted with a scenario in which they were not equipped to handle that. And they learned that lesson the hard way. But yeah, be prepared for the general surroundings. If you're playing a winter campaign and you're gonna have to go gallivanting out into the tundra, you're not going to ignore maybe the necessity of a warm cloak, right? You're gonna want to prepare for that setting. So, prepare. You see Bim starting to look a little anxious, and you kind of feel the ship kind of start to descend. Why don't we take a break?
Awesome.
I'm sure it's fine, guys. I wouldn't worry about it.
We still don't have Featherfall.
That's not on me.
No.
It's not on me.
It's not on any of our character sheets.
So how many people have a water breathing potion?
Me.
I have one.
I think 3.
All 3 of the people who don't
Yeah.
have other methods of
Yeah.
breathing underwater.
Yes.
But no one else grabbed any.
No.
Perfect.
It's fine.
Yeah,
It'll
I
be
only
fine.
have one. I mean, because I was
It'll
gonna say,
last you an hour. You think it takes you 20 minutes to get there.
right.
And then we'll see
just
what happens
know-
after that.
We just know we have to turn around 10 minutes into whatever the fuck we do on land to get out.
Oh, I see. Unless there is an exit in
We
that
do
cave.
not know that there's an exit.
We don't know that.
Yeah.
And how do we know that that exit isn't also underwater for even longer?
We don't.
The thing is, though, I feel like Amanda would not give us an impossible mission.
I feel like
She's
Amanda's
been
been telling us,
telling
as she
us
just
for
said,
2
for
years.
2 fucking years to get water breathing
Yeah.
potions.
But she wouldn't. She's not that spiteful. I don't think.
Number 2, my players on a couple of occasions have been a bit too trusting. This is a tricky one. I won't fault them too much for this because they are quite paranoid most of the time. I really do pride myself in, making it very difficult for my players to trust certain characters and NPCs because they know that one of my favorite things is a twist villain. And they're very difficult to pull off, but I have managed it a couple of times, and it is because they have just not insight checked somebody at a very crucial moment when they should have. So let's break it down a little bit. The first one, this was one that I'm pretty proud of. There was a character in the campaign, in campaign 1, that they knew that this character, had been victim to having their mind controlled, being manipulated by bad guys, and they knew that this character had fallen into enemy hands once again. And, they entered combat against this character that was seemingly being mind controlled, and it was, very stressful. And then mid-combat, that character suddenly switched sides and started helping them in the fight instead of fighting against them. And, yeah, the party, never really questioned that decision, and then later proceeded to give that character a ton of really valuable top secret information And so, yeah, they were then surprised to learn that this character was still being controlled. It was all just a double agent sort of scenario, and I basically stole the MacGuffin for the campaign from the party right from under their noses. So, always insight check people. In campaign 2, kind of similar thing. They they had a ton of just horrible stuff happen to them. Nothing was turning out well for them. And so, lo and behold, this character comes along that, is magically in the right place at the right time, offering a helping hand, and of course they took it. And they did not insight check this person, and that person ended up being the big bad for the entire campaign. So, it's tough. It's tough because when we are down and when all the odds are against us, we're looking for any sort of just silver lining of something. We're looking for just anything to go right. And that is normally where I sneak in and I strike. I know that. I know that about people and about my players. And I kind of abuse that knowledge, maybe perhaps too much. But yeah. I've had a few successful sneak twist villains. Because you gotta insight check people, man. You gotta insight check people. Ko gets up. He's gonna see all of this happening. Look at this guy that just woke him up. Yeah, he's gonna look at you, 10. And then he's gonna look at this priest. And he's gonna say, why would I help someone that's caused me so much pain?
Yes!
You all wake to the sound of an alarm going off.
We didn't get a long rest, right?
You have not completed a long rest yet.
I'm gonna go try to figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
I'm going to, not looking like myself, go to the vault where...
You head to the vault, and that's where most of the guards are rushing to. And you get there, and they're pushing open the doors. The guards that are meant to be stationed inside are... it's hard to tell if they're unconscious or dead. Where the box should be, that the mask would be in, is just sort of like a pile of soot. As you guys all sort of come to and try to figure out what's going on, Tanari, you don't know where Ko is.
Yeah. As soon as he said the box was gone, I wondered if that's why he went to find it.
No, what?
And that's where we're gonna end tonight's session.
What?
God fucking damn it.
Fuck you.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I think Ko took it.
Wait, but
I think
why?
that's why he had the guard take him to...
But why?
the
What
vaults.
motivation?
Y'all never
does he have?
insight checked him.
Fuck!
I was thinking about that too. I was like, should we insight check? And I was like, nah, no. God.
After a moment, you do hear very distantly, "Ahoy there! Are you in need of assistance?"
I just look around trying to find. Yes.
We need some help over here!
The sound draws your attention to a small approaching fishing vessel that's kind of just now peeking through the fog. Seems to be manned by a solitary sailor. And he's sort of steering the ship towards you guys. Hi, it does seem like you're in a bit of trouble there. Here, and he'll start helping you aboard his ship.
Thank you so much. I don't know how Shit's been weird, man.
Number 3, mishandling spells. Specifically, I'm talking about Zone of Truth here. Zone of Truth, if you're familiar, very, very useful spell. So it's sort of this kind of area of effect spell, and everybody within that area gets a save. And if they fail the save, they have to tell the truth. If they make the save, they can lie, but the person that casts the spell knows that they've made that save and knows that they are capable of lying. So let's set up the premise here, where Zone of Truth did not get handled the best. So the party in Campaign 1 found themselves in the midst of kind of like a murder mystery scenario on a train. And yeah, or Murder on the Orient Express, kind of. So the party decided to gather all of the suspects into one location, then cast Zone of Truth, and then kind of go through all of them and ask them the same series of questions to kind of figure out what their alibi was for the night before and suss out who was lying and who was telling the truth. In the scenario, there was a murderer and an accomplice that were hiding amongst the passengers on the train. And when Zone of Truth was cast, one of them succeeded and one of them failed. And so one of them had to tell the truth and the other was capable of lying. And when the party asked them about their alibis, their stories weren't adding up. They were not quite matching. The party caught them kind of in the midst of some sort of fishy, mysterious behavior. And then they never asked anything else about that. They never went through to further investigate that loose thread. They got so hung up on a couple of other characters that made the save and were capable of lying that they totally missed this very suspicious detail of two people that were supposedly together whose stories weren't matching up. And because of that, well, I literally got away with murder. So, if you're going to use Zone of Truth, have a pretty clear plan for that. And if you catch people in a lie, if you catch people not telling the full truth and things not adding up, make sure you fully follow that whole thread and suss that situation out.
Wait, he
ain't do shit. He was in his car and slept
he
and probably snored.
he woke up when Esther came to the door.
Mm-hmm.
He still recalls him coming to the door.
Esther said he was snoring.
He did say he was snoring. He said he was snoring. I think. Who else corroborated that? Someone else did. I think Larissa or somebody.
Larissa, yeah.
So.
But Jean also failed his saving in Zone of Truth.
Yeah.
Weird. Sips alcohol while we debate.
Yeah, because it's was he asleep by then, or was he awake?
I don't know. Just wondered.
Did we?
His guard is in there with him, right? They share the same room.
Yes. The Esther said the guard sent him off.
Yeah.
Number 4, mishandling business. I mean, business dealings. When we go to shops and we buy things, sometimes this has not been handled in the best way. And case in point, in Campaign 1, there was a reoccurring NPC that ran this traveling magic shop. And they would interact with this character numerous times throughout the entire campaign, and this was the place to get sometimes the best magic items in that whole campaign. One time, the amount given for one of these magic items was just out of budget for the party. It was a pretty astronomical amount, and one of the party members was not super jazzed about the possibility of having to spend that much money on something or raise that amount of money to get that item. And so they decided to cast friends on the magic shop owner. I think for a normal tavern owner or something, that might not be as much of an issue. But when it's a, fairly skilled wizard running the main magic shop for the entire campaign, and you're gonna try and charm them essentially into giving you what you want by using a spell that's gonna wear off very shortly, and they're gonna know that you cast that spell on them. Not a great idea. Yeah, that was a very quick way to make an important NPC not like them very, very much. To the point where the next time they went to try and shop there, they had set up a bunch of these like anti magic wards around the shop, and it also just sort of started like one of the deepest kind of rivalries between the character that cast friends and this magic shop owner. Like in the world that our campaigns take place in, to this day, those two characters despise each other, all because of one little spell. And as an enemy makes a mad dash for the city, we see a pale wizard outstretch his hands and watch as the monster rapidly decays and withers before collapsing to the ground. Simulacrum Zephyr looks over at the wizard and then flicks him off. Number 5, accepting gifts from strangers. You know, sometimes this is a good thing. We should accept things. You know, you might be able to sell it for money. It might be a useful, like, campaign important item. But, you know, if it's like food or like something you have to consume or drink, maybe you should check that out. Maybe you should do a little investigating to, you know, make sure that it's not harmful to you. The party didn't do that. They found themselves in the Feywild, and this Archfey gave them all a bunch of potions for them to drink, and they all drank them without any questions asked, without checking that out at all. And you know, it was just straight up poison. It was straight up poison. And yeah, everybody died, and then we moved on to the next part of the campaign. So, you know, if people maybe don't drink random potions from Fey creatures. And it's not like they didn't know they were Fey. They were obviously a very trickstery kind of Fey creature. Yeah, I'm shocked that they just all drank that. I had a couple like ways that scenario could pan out. That's not what I was expecting to happen at all.
I kind of.
Sláinte.
I drink it.
Time to drink it.
3, 2, 1.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah,
You drink it.
Yep.
Man, amazing. Okay, hang on.
What do you mean amazing? What was something else supposed to happen?
No, I wasn't sure. So you all drink it.
She's like, the one time you do what I want.
It doesn't happen often.
That's not interesting.
You guys all drink it, and yeah, I suppose it's a little different for each, but you all sort of feel this pulse in your head and your heart and your stomach, and the whole world just sort of tilts for a little bit, and you feel dizzy and strange. Isla, you're in Revan's body. You feel like this sort of corrosiveness has just sort of entered you and is sort of eating away. And all of you, your vision goes black.
What did we do?
Girl.
Something.
I'm sure it's fine.
Whole party's dead. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got the TPK. It just wasn't how we thought.
So, you wake with a start, confused by what just happened. As your eyes adjust, you find you are in a dark cave. It's dim, but it seems someone has taken time to light a couple candles around you. Looking down at yourselves, you aren't wearing any armor. It seems like somebody's covered you in sort of rags, but your normal clothes are gone, your possessions are gone. You're lying in a cave. Number 6, not being aware of our surroundings. So, you know, sometimes when we do combat encounters, it's just a normal sort of environment. There's no like traps or obstacles or anything. You just are in a place and you fight and it's all good. Sometimes, however, the encounter is taking place in a troublesome location where there might be traps, there might be hidden obstacles or things within the room that could affect the party and the area. The party in Campaign 2 found themselves in one such location. They were fighting a they were fighting a Rakshasa in a room filled with these like magical bottles housing these ships. These were normal sailing ships that had been shrunken down and housed in these magical bottles. Using a magic word or breaking the bottle makes the ship, go back to normal and be a giant sailing ship. Well, they're fighting in this room full of these bottles, and one spell went a bit awry, and while they did hit their target, they also accidentally hit, a couple of bottles that were next to this bad guy. And, one ship started to rapidly expand and go back to normal size, and it broke the bottle next to it, which started rapidly expanding and going to normal size, and that broke the next bottle, and the next, and the next, and the next. This was a collection of hundreds of ships, mind you. So, long story short, the party pretty much single-handedly destroyed an entire city. A lot of people died that day. A lot of people died. I feel like that whole thing could have gone very differently. And, well, it didn't, though. So, always be aware of your surroundings. Always. Always be aware of your surroundings. Yeah. You send this prismatic spray of poison and acid at him, and he gets the full brunt of it, and his eyes are wide. And for the first time, you see fear. That cockiness, that arrogance goes away. You see fear. And you watch as this acid and this poison washes over the room, but specifically the acid starts to hit and destroy just everything in this cone, melting it away. Your eye catches 2 bottles on the coffee table behind him. And as those bottles start to get hit with this acid and crack, you see the within a single instant, those ships and those bottles start to rapidly start expanding. You guys are gonna have a single round to decide what you're going to do. You've got 6 seconds while these ships are rapidly growing and starting to break the things around them. Number 7, ignoring the DM's warnings. Every once in a while, a DM will warn you that you're possibly going into a very deadly scenario. It doesn't happen super often. Not all DMs do it. But it does happen on occasion. I feel like I should mention up front that while there are parts of my campaign worlds that level up with the party, there are also some areas and some NPCs that are just challenging. They're just always going to be really, really challenging because that's realistic to me. There's some things that we can take on and handle any given day. And then there are some things that we really have to prepare and train and grow stronger in order to combat. And, there was this bad guy who had parked his ship full of cultists on the edge of a city, and I had warned the party, not to go deal with this person yet. Multiple NPCs told them multiple times, hey, I know they're super creepy and, we don't know exactly what they're up to, but, maybe don't go dealing with that right now. Let's not do that at this moment. And I know what that looks like. It's like putting a big red button that says do not push in front of a person and expecting them not to push it. I am fully aware of that. However, I did warn them. I did warn them not to go deal with it. But they didn't listen, so they went to go investigate this ship. And, man, the way they investigated it, though, like, one of the characters just went off with, like, the big bad of that area alone to just go hang out and talk with them. And then what? Is surprised when he doesn't want to let her go, and then it breaks out into a combat encounter. It was devastating. And here's the thing, I went so easy on them too. Almost the majority of his like lackeys didn't even join the fight. But ultimately, that resulted in one of the party members dying, one of the other party members being taken prisoner, and the bad guy and all of his minions, basically getting away scot-free. It was not great. It was not great. But I did warn them. I did warn them about it. No, it's the last ship that I'm a little worried about. Saint's Grace. That's captained by Father Mackenzie, and he is crazy. Like, absolute crazy religious fanatic. Like, steer clear of that guy. I'm pretty sure he's like a cult leader or something. As y'all are in this room, and you are alone with Father Mackenzie, who Allie told you is crazy and you should avoid, we are going to zoom out, and we're going to go over to the ballroom.
The way he sighed with Father Mackenzie, I was like,
Yes.
what's going on there?
Well, I mean, I will point out, when y'all arrived in town, he's like, stay away from this guy, I've heard he's a creep.
He did say that.
He did say that.
But I mean, you never know. You never know.
I forget, honestly, exactly where the conversation was steered. What were we talking about? I think ships were involved, but I'm no longer...
Yeah, we're gonna break on a Father Mackenzie's ship. I think
You are going to do that. Okay, and the end goal is?
We just want to find shit out about him. He's creepy.
I'm almost... Well, I mean, I think that would be prudent.
How do you intend to handle his sizable crew?
I don't know. Maybe I'll just walk up and say, "Hey, I want to talk to him." He seemed interested in me.
Okay.
So, like, you would be a distraction kind of thing, or
maybe for other people to sneak on.
No, I think like. I mean, maybe. I was thinking that was more like espionage, but like under the guise of, you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was, I'll gather information, but I'll act like we're friends and then report back to us kind of thing. But that also works.
A member of the crew, something you notice immediately is they're dressed mainly in dark clothing, and they have a brand on their forehead of like 2 circles.
Fucking Christ.
And they keep a very straight face, and they just sort of say, and what is your name?
I'm Isla.
Will you please wait here one moment while we go talk to our father?
Of course, thank you.
I hate this.
And they leave. This is your idea. This is you.
No, it's fine.
A couple moments pass. I assume this is all happening concurrently with Theron, like, climbing up the side of the ship. And they return with Father Mackenzie. And Father Mackenzie looks at honestly very pleased to see you. And what do I owe this pleasure of you visiting on such a wonderful evening? Number 8, refusing to run. Refusing to run. So here's the thing. There are going to be combat scenarios in which you demolish the bad guy, and that's great. There are going to be combat scenarios that you can talk your way out of. There are going to be some scenarios where maybe if you're sneaky enough, you can avoid it altogether. And then sometimes you find yourself in the midst of a fight that is just too hard for you, and you need to run away. The problem is, and I don't know if any of you DMs experience the same thing, but they never run. The party never runs away. They try to just stand their ground and finish the fight. And, a lot of times this works out in their favor, but sometimes it doesn't. And in campaign 2, the party found themselves in one such scenario. It was so bad. This is a tough enemy, by the way. So this was a star spawn emissary, and they have a second phase. And it's one of those where you just really don't realize that it's going to have a second phase until it happens. Because you kill and defeat the first phase, and then it becomes the second phase. So you really don't know it's coming unless you've somehow learned and studied up on this monster prior to fighting it. So, yeah, they were fighting this Starspawn emissary, and really only one character was keeping their distance. Everybody else just went in super close. And they ended that first phase. The second phase started, and it was just awful. I mean, they were already pretty low by the end of the first phase. So when the second phase of that monster happened and they were fighting it, like immediately almost everybody went down. If they didn't go down on that first hit, they went down on the second one. Only one character was far enough away to be able to run, to be able to have the time to try and get away. And it is the closest to a full TPK I have ever gotten. And by the time they had started wondering if they should run, it was already too late. So, if you're asking yourself if maybe we should run, you probably should. You probably should. Yeah. I'm gonna, unleash a psychic wave.
Can I use counterspell?
It's not a spell.
Dang it.
Why are you doing this to us?
Yeah, it unleashes a psychic wave. Everybody within 30 feet of this creature needs to make a wisdom saving throw. So close, Darren.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right now.
That was wisdom?
It's wisdom save. The DC is 23.
Fuck.
I'm just not even gonna roll because I can't physically beat that.
I literally can't get that.
Okay. All right. So Ronan and Darren can't get that. Can anyone?
Oh
No.
Let me see if there's something that I can do.
Amanda, don't do this to me.
Number 9. Messing with animals. Here's the thing. There are lots of animals in D&D, and I feel like so few of them are just normal, regular animals. I feel like most of them are like some sort of monster or magical being in some way. And in campaign 1, the party encountered a hippo in a session. It was a very cute hippo. And so, of course, some of the players wanted to pet the hippo. This required an animal handling check, and a couple of them managed that okay and were able to pet the hippo. But one of them failed the animal handling check and was bit by the hippo. So imagine their surprise when in the middle of the night, they wake up with hippo-like features and realize that they weren't bit by a hippo, they were bit by a were-hippo. And then they contracted lycanthropy and were well, starting to become this hippo creature. It was it was mildly horrifying, and it involved a very sudden use of greater restoration. But boy, was it funny for me. So yeah, if petting an animal requires an animal handling check, maybe it's a bad idea. I don't know. It could work out, but I feel like so many animals in D&D are so strange and not what they seem. So, proceed with caution and, be prepared to heal or restore yourself should something happen. We'll say a couple nights in, you wake up in a cold sweat.
Mm.
There is... You feel off.
Hippo!
You feel a wave of nausea come over you. You're sweating.
I'm gonna wake up whoever I'm sharing a room with.
Okay. I think all the guys are in the same room. So you would wake up Karak and Chad.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess I'd say I feel like shit.
Karak, when Ash wakes you up, I'll say it this way. You are woken up by some human hippo hybrid.
What the? What?
No. Did he understand me, though?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
You're in your hybrid form.
I feel like shit.
You look like shit. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Number 10. Teleporting. Here's the thing. The act of teleporting to another place, very quickly being able to move across the map, is such a useful tool. And it can have some incredibly genius applications. But most people forget just how freaking deadly the spell teleport actually is. If you go in and you look at this spell and read up on it, you realize that this is a spell for teleporting to a place that you know and know fairly well and have seen and been to. It's not really for teleporting to a place you've never gone to before. And that is what the party tried to do. They scryed on an enemy and got the vaguest glimpse of a possible location and then tried to teleport to them. This went horribly wrong, okay? Because each time you cast teleport, you've got to roll the percentile die to see if you make it there. And if you are so incredibly unfamiliar with this location, you have such a slim chance of getting there. Each time the teleport fails, everybody that's attempting to teleport takes damage, and then you try again, and the percentile die get rolled again. I don't know how many times we rolled those die, and I announced how much damage was being done to the entire party before I realized that they were going to die. They were going to die because not only were they just teleporting to a location where a bad guy was, they were teleporting to a location where an extremely powerful bad guy was. They were trying to teleport into essentially a lich's lair. So I knew that whenever they get there, they're going to have to fight that. And it was very late in the campaign. Everybody was super invested in their characters. We probably only had a month or two left of the campaign to even play out. and they were about to kill themselves with a teleport spell. So, I was a very kind, generous DM that day, and I just eventually was like, you know what, it works, and you get there, because they were dying, guys. They were dying. They were not gonna make it there. Gosh, I can't even remember how much damage they did to themselves. It was absurd. It was more damage than I think the Lich actually did to them. It was pretty astounding. So, teleport, very powerful spell, very useful spell. Please know where you're going. Like, please make sure that the odds are a little bit more in your favor than what my party dealt with. It was pretty bad.
Even if I fail and we all take crazy amounts of force damage, we're gonna leave.
See, for me, like, you have viewed this place once,
But I also have that perfect memory. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but you saw a 10-foot square of floor.
But that's all I need.
Come on, 25% chance.
We'll see how this goes. I get to roll.
Do I roll it? Oh,
I get to roll the D100, so.
Fun.
Yeah, so I rolled the D100 for you guys. Wasn't super great, not gonna lie. We're gonna do 3d10, which I will roll right now. And then we will go from there. So it'll be force damage. That's 18 points of force damage. And then I roll another D100. Ooh.
So we could take more damage.
Good.
We could also get there.
I rolled almost the exact same thing again.
Alright.
Oh, no.
Great.
You're having a hard time getting there. This time, you take...
Hopefully it's less.
21 points of force damage.
Jinxed it.
And I roll again?
Yep, you just keep rolling.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh my god.
All right, well, these were 10 of the dumbest things my players have done. And honestly, they're not all that dumb. I mean, a lot of this is just natural curiosity and maybe just me having a little bit of a laugh, teasing them when they make some of these decisions. But this was so much fun. I love going back and thinking of some of these moments from our past campaigns. It's fun to go down memory lane and kind of relive some of those moments. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this channel, if you want to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. That stuff really helps me out. But way more important, leave a comment down below. What are some crazy dumb things that you have done in D&D? Or some crazy dumb things that your players have done? I would love to hear all about that. The engagement on these videos is really what helps other people find the channel, and that is all super important. But with all of that said and done, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week, and I will see you again next time. I've got 2 honorable mentions, but they are from the Curse of Strahd campaign. So if you are planning to play in that campaign, maybe go ahead and click off the video, but otherwise, stick around. So, in the Curse of Strahd campaign, within Castle Ravenloft, there is a pretty awesome, kind of teleportation puzzle. There are, a series of riddles, each tied to a specific location, and by, finagling with this, device, this thing, I think it's like a big hourglass, you can travel to one of those locations, but you have to hope that you're getting the riddle right and you're going where you want to go. So the party came upon this puzzle, and one of the members of the party was so certain that one of these locations was describing Strahd's tomb, like the part of the crypt where Strahd's coffin is, because that's where they were pretty sure they would have to face off against him. She initiated the like puzzle, the teleportation thing. She picked the location. She walked through. And none of the party went in after her. They all watched her leave and watched the time run out on this puzzle. And then she was gone. She was gone and no longer with the party. Here's the thing. She was wrong. She didn't go where she wanted to go. She went halfway across the map to the coffin maker's shop in Vallaki, not Strahd's crypt. Although, honestly, probably for the best, given that none of the party went after her. So she went through. If she had gone to where Strahd was, she would have had to face off against Strahd alone, which is terrible. Yeah, this was super stressful for the party because they had never split themselves up like that before, and they were really struggling with the puzzle. And it was stressful for me because one of the players was now way far away from the rest of the party, and I had to very quickly try to find a way to get them back together because we were trying to gear up to the final fight. And, a sudden party split, not a great thing to have right at the final fight. So that was a bit stressful. We worked it out, but man, I don't know if I've ever seen my players like sweat so much over that. The second one from Curse of Strahd was the Amber Temple. The Amber Temple is a pretty notorious and kind of weird location in Barovia, and it's full of all sorts of things. Famously, some sarcophagi that can grant you some gifts. Yeah, you can potentially obtain some powers from these sarcophagi, but you also have this chance of having your alignment suddenly become evil, and 2 members of the party, they did that. And so this is one of the last locations they went to before going to confront Strahd at the end of the campaign. So going into the very end of the campaign, suddenly 2 members of the party were evil, and they were like messaging me privately about their plans to like, off the rest of the party. And man, it was very stressful. Fortunately, they were able to be restored to their normal selves after some pretty clutch, successful insight checks. But yeah, I may have been more stressed about that than the 2 players that became evil. But yeah, that was just a fun moment. So these were just a couple. Curse of Strahd was so long ago, but it was such like a memorable campaign, and I just love going back and thinking about all of the crazy stuff that happened happened during that campaign. But yeah, definitely share your stories with me. I'd love to hear them. But yeah, have a nice day.